Griffith. We can start with our guy again. It's
Yeah,
Georges Méliès.
our boy Méliès.
This will be his penultimate year of films,
Yeah,
which is sad.
it's very,
Um,
it's very, it is very sad. I was gonna say bittersweet, but there's not even a lot of sweetness to it.
no,
It's mostly
especially
just
because
sad.
these are kind of just okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. I think some of the stuff next year will be a little more impressive and interesting.
Hmm.
But the two that he made this year, or at least the two that survived, are Baron Munchausen's Dream and The Diabolical Church Window.
Indeed. Not top tier Méliès. Um, kind of, I would say middle of the road to lower tier Méliès. Really.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but it's nice to have his weirdness back in our lives.
absolutely. Movies are getting so serious these days.
They really are. The more popular films from the 1910s seem like they're very dour, very serious.
Yeah,
And yeah, I appreciated Méliès's just like fast-paced, manic, weird kind of supernatural vibes that he always
yeah,
brings.
yeah. He made both of these movies for Pathe. This is at this point he has sold his Star Films and all of his assets to Pathe, which will be his undoing, really.
Mm.
Um, uh, these types of movies that these kind of féerie movies that Méliès was making, kind of were just not popular at all by this point, and Pathe hired him for his clout, basically, but he's like just nobody wanted his stuff anymore. And I guess the one that we could talk about or first is Baron Munchausen's Dream,
Hmm.
which is definitely it's definitely a Méliès joint, but there are some supposed Pathe corruptive influences on this
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
So it's basically like a bunch of fun vignettes, one after another. It's a classic Méliès setup of somebody dreaming and weird stuff happening.
Yeah, it's a nightmare film of like, I mean, it's very, I think there's a couple different titles of it. I mean, there's Baron Munchausen's Dream, The Hallucinations of Baron Munchausen,
Hmm.
um, Monsieur Le Baron Dined Too Well, which is, I think, is my favorite one. That he
Oh,
he
I
ate,
didn't I didn't see that
he
one.
he ate too much at dinner, and now he's having a bad dream. Um,
Well, the reason there are so many different titles in English is because this one and no Méliès movies past this point were ever released in the U.S.
mm,
Or were never released outside of France, so
right.
they never had official English translations.
Um, it does. I think some of the vignettes have some cool things in them, but yeah, the sort of corrupting influence, if I'm remembering correctly, is one is the runtime. It runs a little
Yeah,
long for a Méliès movie.
it lags. I mean, I think Méliès like to keep the pace up and keep showing you new stuff, but this movie is basically like one dream vignette and then another one and then another one and then another one for like 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
it gets a little stale. But I liked like sort of the way that it introduces his dream world is that there's like a mirror in the like a giant mirror behind his bed. And so initially the dreams are kind of being presented from within the mirror, but it's not actually like a double exposure effect. It's like a stage that's behind the mirror because Baron Munchausen is I don't know what that was. Baron Munchausen is able to walk through the mirror into the dreams, which is so fun.
Well, and also there's the bit where he like gets up from his bed and he's looking at himself in the mirror, and so there's two actors who are playing the
Yeah,
Baron,
yeah,
mirroring each other's movements, which is very cool. Um, and that's something that is still the effect of having a mirror on film with two actors on either side is still something that is occasionally used today.
yeah.
Um,
Like in Magic Mike XXL, where they do that fake mirror routine at the very end of the film. Have you seen
or
it?
I haven't. I still haven't. I
Ah,
gotta get to it. Um, I was thinking of the deleted scene in Terminator 2, which is not a recent movie, but Not as recent as Magic Mike XSL at any
No.
at
Yeah,
any
we'll
rate.
get to both of them though.
We will.
Um, this also, one of the vignettes is, I mean, we can't say this for sure until we watch next week's movies, but maybe his final moon face. Um,
Ooh,
there's
yeah.
there's a face in the
I hadn't
moon
thought about that.
with a gross long tongue
Yeah.
that's like a tentacle that comes out of the nose.
He had to step it up, you know. He had to
Yeah.
escalate his moon face effects.
And then like it's kind of a fun effect, like, you know, a tentacle just kind of bursts out of the nose of the moon and kind of swipes around and everything, and then it kind of fades into a trunk of an elephant for the next vignette.
Yeah. An
Which was
elephant with reading glasses.
oh, I didn't notice the glasses. Oh my god.
It doesn't really have. I think it's kind of interesting that it's called Baron Munchausen's dream because it doesn't, as far as I can tell, it doesn't really have anything to do with the stories associated with the Baron Munchausen character / historical figure.
Right.
It's kind of just they're just slapping that IP on there to get to draw the crowd. I think.
Which we've seen some of that kind of stuff before, like with Sherlock Holmes and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So we've seen it, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Terry Gilliam Baron Munchausen movie?
A long time ago, yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's so fun and wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be, right?
It's one of the most Terry Gilliam-esque Terry Gilliam movies. Yeah.
And then the other one that he made this year was The Diabolical Church Window, which was, I think, rediscovered pretty recently. This wasn't on the original like Flicker Alley Méliès box set. It like was on the second one that they had to release with the newer discoveries a couple years later. And this one is basically like the devil puts a wizard to sleep, and then he just plays pranks because it's a Méliès movie.
Classic George Méliès setup. The devil puts a wizard to sleep and then plays pranks. Yeah, I mean, I read that this is an incomplete version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt fairly complete. You know, it didn't feel like
Yeah.
there were any glaring things where it's like, oh, that's something's missing here.
Right.
But yeah,
At least, you know, there's not much of a narrative to it, so it's not nothing would really be
Yeah.
missing from a narrative perspective.
it's mostly like some camera tricks, a lot of pyrotechnics.
Mhm. The classic Méliès thing also of someone trying to grab or hug a pretty lady, and then she disappears when he when he does it, and then he grasps the air.
Yeah, I mean, not a. There's not a lot to say about these. They're not really narratives necessarily. They're just sort of setups for some fun, and games.
Yeah, they're pretty simple, but you know, if you're putting on some goofy Méliès, then they fit the goof quotient, you know.
They would be once parties are a thing that happen again. I do feel like Méliès trick films are a good thing to put on in the background.
Oh yeah.
You know,
we
like-
need to make like a great like silent movie party
Yeah.
background playlist.
Oh
you know?
my god. Yes. Yeah. Oh man. That's something I miss of like going to someone's party and there's just a movie playing low in the background.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't want to talk to anyone, you can just sit and watch the movie for a little while.
We all have all thought about parties so deeply in this time of no parties that we know now how to put together the greatest party. We have to have, you know, certain atmospheres here and there, a snack table. People don't think about they always think about the snack table. Anyway,
the great innovation we've come up with from a year of no parties is snacks on a table.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of the guy that sticks to the snack table.
It's one of the safest places to be at a party.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Some movies that would not be good to play at parties are D.W. Griffith movies.
Great transition, and
Thank you.
truer words have never been said.